I think building a persona. I'll tell you one practice I do. If I, for example, if I want to take some inspiration R&D from another channel, right,
Yeah.
and it's a way bigger channel, it's 20 million subscribers, I might take all their comments from their most popular video, dump it into something like ChatGPT, and I tell it to figure out what do you think is their persona of this customer. It could tell you by the words they use, y'all folks are crazy, or they say certain words repeatedly. It'll say these people are mostly tuning in from here, and their age group might be this, and this is what they said, or a lot of them are giving reference to Back to the Future movie. So it's like a lot of that. There's some key giveaways, right?
My guest today is it's a little bit different this time because normally, obviously, we talk to news professionals, people in news organizations each and every time that we come out for the show. But I wanted to go a little different. So this is a bit of an experiment in this episode. My guest today is Babir Sultan, owner of Fave Trip convenience stores, Eagle Eye Live, a AI security company, and also this is my favorite part where I get jealous. He's a writer, producer, director of a feature film about to come out. But you're welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here.
So here's that my thing is a lot of this show is about what's going on in the news industry right now, and it's harder for those of us olds that have been in it for a while. It's just different. It feels like a lot harder to continue to make the revenue that we need to make, and it's a lot harder just to go collect and produce the news and to keep our audience. There's so many choices out there now, and so many choices that aren't your standard news, right? Like there's content everywhere.
Yeah.
And what you have done as owner of Fave Trip, that's now delved into so many other things, is you've gotten really good at using technology, using content and stats, data. You track data like no one I know, to build and keep audience. And so, sometimes it's good to get out of our silos, to leave the things that we're used to, that we're good at. I could do 3 hours on how newspapers stayed in our silos for way too long. But it's good to get out and let's, what can we, I like to say R&D is my favorite part of business, rob and duplicate.
Yeah.
So get out of the silo. Let's talk to other people who are doing things and being successful. What can we steal? What can we use for ourselves in our industry to build more audience, to keep audience? So that's where I want to start. And here's my first thing for you. Where are you at now on your YouTube page for your convenience store in South Kansas City? Yeah. Was it 100,000+?
120,000, close to 120,000 subscribers, and we reach about 20 million people a month. That's our video content. Yeah,
that's amazing. And how many people like me go, but a convenience store?
Yeah. So to your point, it's not just news, reporting and everything that's old school, just like convenience stores as well. A lot of our folks want to stay where they are. It's comfortable. Any change is disruptive. We're bothered by it. We like to have things the way they were. So not just the news industry.
Yeah, we hated Craigslist in our industry.
You go. Yeah, exactly. So things are changing at a pace. We have to change and adopt accordingly as well. And that's what we've done. We're happy, and we continue to grow and remain curious as well, is that what's the new field look like? Don't jump on everything that comes in new. I call that the squirrel effect. If you watch that movie Up,
guilty.
Is a squirrel. The dog
Guilty.
sees a squirrel, it looks around.
I love new things.
Yeah, so we got to be as business minded as possible. How does it solve my problem? What is it that somebody like R&D, rip and duplicate, I call it. You must have read the Steal Like an Artist book where, you learn from other industry. We take inspiration from coffee shops from other folks and, apply it in our business. It's just not limited to convenience stores. So a lot of people hate disruption, but whether we like it or not, it's happening, and we have to adopt. And that's what we've done over the years.
Okay, you have 100,000+ subscribers on your YouTube page. You're hitting 20 million a month. That's incredible. We would rob, pillage, and kill, I think, for those numbers in our industry. Does that actually mean traffic into your business? I mean, does having a social audience equate to having local success inside your business?
Yeah, I think the brand awareness is there. And there was a time frame where we said, what's our problem? First, I have to say, we started off with a problem. That problem was 5 or 6 times people would shoplift from our store. We're like, okay, how do we combat this? We went around the neighborhood, R&D. We saw a lot of people who just plaster pictures on their doors and thought that's very tacky. Facebook comes along, we started putting pictures, and then we started doing videos and things like that. So we evolve over the year. The result of that was we would get maybe 1-2 shoplifters a week, and now maybe once a month now, which is a good problem to have.
Let's backtrack a little bit. Your channel started and still is a lot of video of people shoplifting.
Yeah. We do some behind the scenes
voiceovers.
Now. Yeah, we do fun voices right here in the studio. And for me, now we do a lot more behind the scenes and more engaging stuff as well. But that was the original problem. And to go back to your thing about, does that result in people walking in the store? Definitely, there's a brand awareness factor to that. But we can only take it so much, because being in Kansas City, having millions of views a month is great. But how do you translate that from a business point of view? And then we get into things like Eagle Eye Live. So from the shoplifting, we said, hey, a lot of people asking us questions. How do you prevent shoplifting? How do you do this? And me being a tech curious person, I was like, how do we up our game from that? How do we, invest in technology that makes us better? And that's what we've done over the years. And I'm going to be sharing some practical examples today with Nick. And I'm excited because I love brainstorming with you. And I take a lot whenever we meet. And we're gonna talk about agents, how I'm using them to offload some work. And yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm curious, and I don't know if this translates between industries or not, which is really kind of the whole point of this conversation. Really what I wanted was, let's just record one of our brainstorming sessions.
Yeah.
You and I have known each other. We work out of the same building, and we've traded a lot of ideas and a lot of things with each other. Translating the data that you get, so your audience data, their behaviors, all of that stuff, into a different technology. Like, you went from airing people shoplifting from your store, or even people sending you videos of their stores, right?
Yeah.
To working through AI and other technology to create your own video security tech.
Yeah.
Is that a translatable thing? Like is that how we really need to be using our data? Is how to develop the next thing?
Yeah, I think with any industry, even news or anything, we're in a problem solution, business. So whatever problem you have, most likely another news channel or, newspaper has, or podcast has, for example. And, take something as, if you think about it, a couple of years ago, how were you transcripting your, videos? It was very tedious. Now you could get it instantly done, right, with AI.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, no, the old way is better, they're wasting so much time. And I really think time is the biggest factor as business owners. How much time am I saving by doing this? So me personally, even when I look at my business, I say, and again, I'll give you a small example of something like downloading our data files, sales files. It was a human process. Once a week, download it, make a dashboard. Now I have an AI agent that does that, reduces that workload off an employee so they can focus on other matters, make relations with the community, start our own branded Fave Trip sauce, barbecue sauce or something, right? It opens up room for you to think. But if I'm always putting out fire and not utilizing the tools that are available today to solve my problems, I'm going to get left behind. It doesn't matter what industry I'm in.
Let's talk a little bit about AI and tools. And I realize that that's very broad, so I want to try to focus it in a little bit. I think, especially in our industry, the biggest fear around usage and ethics of it, right, is the generative side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's where we spend 90% of our conversations is, should we? And if we say yes, we should, what are the ethics and rules to use it. But what I want to talk about is that other part of it that I think maybe we miss sometimes are the tools to streamline your business.
Yeah.
That you can either automate, or you can just have it kind of on a back burner so that you don't have to you can spend 30 minutes instead of 3 hours. Doing it. So on that business automation side, and maybe automation isn't the right word. What kind of things are you looking at tool wise?
Yeah. For me, honestly, just like you said, streamlining anything we see in the business that's eating up too much time of our staff and ours. We say, okay, is there a better way? Always ask yourself, is there a better way? And another thing we like to do, and we get this from a gas station chain that's a multi-billionaire chain called Sheetz. They always have these annual meetings that they ask the question, how do we put ourselves out of business if we were competing with ourselves? So they really dive into saying...
That's a scary question to ask yourself.
It is, yeah. But it challenges you, right? It's like, okay, this is what we're doing right now. How would we outbid ourselves, like outdo ourselves? And it really challenges you. Again, you'll hear me say this a lot, remaining curious. How does that look like tomorrow, right? We're doing this food program, and people have to stand in line and order their food. And sometimes you get it right and don't. Oh, let's put up these iPads and let them order. If it's their mistake, it's their mistake, not my mistake, right? So it's like they looked at that at one point and said, this is how we're going to do it. Who took from that? Quick Trip does the exact same thing that they did, but Sheetz was doing it before them, right? So there's a lot of R&D happening at the big level. It shouldn't stop us, whether one store or two store operation. There's always inspiration that you could get. So using AI as a tool and not, it's a shiny tool, I want to use it. Look at it, how does it apply to you, and how can it solve my particular problem?
How do you, is there a tool, or what are you using, I guess, to take care of your audience and your customers? And obviously our customer behaviors are different, but I mean, what are you looking at so that you're not spending, I mean, like we can all spend all day, every day on data entry and organization of the data, right? Like, so what are you using, I guess, to help you understand who your audience is, where they are, and how you can better, you can better treat that customer experience?
I think understanding them is your biggest thing. Every business should have a customer persona. You should know who your audience are. Like, I didn't do this before, but I do it a lot more now, where I'll go into the YouTube analytics, Facebook analytics, and it'll say 25 and older are watching it. These are the locations. If I only have 5% of people watching from UK, I'm not going to cater to them, or 2% out of Mexico. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people from there. But then I noticed a lot in California. I don't have a gas station in California, but I did notice shoplifting was a big topic there because, the crime rate of shoplifting, and I think they passed a law that said it has to be 1,000 or more for you to even bother calling the police. So there was a lot of interest in shoplifting. And I was like, okay, that's a great insight to learn about. And if I'm making content, my content should revolve around that audience if that's where I'm growing. But if that's my goal, right? Every business should have a goal. But if I'm trying to grow here locally, it's going to be very different, from the sound effects to the memes to what I say, very different. So you have to know your data. Dive deep into your data.
Well, let's talk about that and what you're using to dive deep. And I think that's where we can all get better too, because like everybody says, dive deep into your data, know your audience, blah blah blah. I'm gonna throw out there, a large percentage probably don't know what that means. We can say the words, but what are we actually looking for when we want to know who our audience is?
I think building a persona. I'll tell you one practice I do. For example, if I want to take some inspiration, R&D from another channel, right? And it's a way bigger channel, 20 million subscribers. I might take all their comments from their most popular video, dump it into something like ChatGPT, and I tell it to figure out, what do you think is their persona of this customer? It could tell you by the words they use, y'all folks are crazy, or they say certain words repeatedly. It'll say these people are mostly tuning in from here, and their age group might be this, and this is what they said. Or a lot of them are giving reference to Back to the Future movie. So it's like a lot of that. There's some key giveaways, right? Before, it would be a very manual, tedious process, and you could go to something as simple as going to the local library and asking them, hey, help me out with data. I want to know, I'm about to open up this gas station here locally. Tell me, who am I dealing with? And they'll give you that. And there's so many free resources. I believe there's no excuse not to know your persona of your customers. at all.
Let's flip that a little bit.
Yeah.
I know we didn't go far enough, but let's flip that a little bit. Do we know our own persona?
You have know thyself first.
Right. Yeah. I think we all are in our industry. Like, look, I'm going to produce the news.
Yeah,
right?
It's something I enjoy doing as a hobby. Yeah,
I don't even know if it's hobby. I think it's just it's what we do.
Yeah.
Right. We gather news, we push it out to our audience. We make relationships with, on the other side of things, we make relationships with businesses and business owners around the community, and we get them to buy in to support what we do.
Yeah,
and that's it. But beyond that, do we know who we are?
Yeah, it's tough. You got to ask yourself that every week, every month, or once a while. Some people get by never asking about it, right? I'll give you a very practical example based on your industry. Whenever I Wall Street Journal app versus the New York Times, two different but very similar. One is very heavy business focused. But one thing I noticed with the New York Times, their videos show a lot of food prepping, this and that. I never get any of that from the Wall Street. It's not my expectation. But they probably know their customer persona well enough where they say, that's not our thing, right? But they took on something like a TikTok channel where next time if you go to the New York Times app, the second tab is video, and you're literally scrolling it like a TikTok, and they give you maybe 15 of them. But sometimes that's my news brief for the day. But it's very, very intentional, right? Somebody did some analytics and say, this is what we need to do. So there's 2 news, 1 cooking video, another one. So
the importance of curation, right? Of knowing who your audience is and curating.
Yeah, I think it's crucial for any business. Otherwise, you're opening up a taco joint that nobody likes taco, but they like cheeseburgers, right?
Listen, if you don't like tacos, we're not going to be friends.
Yeah, exactly. I love tacos, but it's like opening up a joint, not knowing your customer persona, right? Even the stuff we carry in our store, like back to your point, do we even know ourselves? Like me, if I'm passionate about a certain protein bar, right? Trying to be health conscious here, Build Bar, I love, or certain brands, and I can't expect my customers to like it. The data says they like Prime or something else, and I have to go with that, right? Against my own, where a lot of times the company owners like, no, since I'm so passionate about, everybody should care about what I care. They don't. They really don't.
How hard is that for you? And I'll say it. It's hard for me. How hard is it for you to chase what you know are their passions instead of chasing what's your passion on that?
It's tough.
Because our perspectives get again, back to the silo, we get pretty narrow.
Yeah. And I think I've been corrected enough times throughout the 20 years that I've been in business where they say, hey, you like this, but we're not selling it, so you need to get rid of it. And I was like, damn it. But that's where something, like I said, let's talk practical. I want this to be a practical podcast as well. Something like an AI agent that blew my mind last week, as early as last week. And I shared this on my LinkedIn page where I fed it some information about, hey, this is my persona. This is what I do, what I'd like, don't like. And, I did that strength finder thing and I shared that with you. Nothing too personal, but at least my persona. And when I was sharing a YouTube idea with it and I kept saying, I need to do this, I need to do that, it literally put a big stop. It says, stop. You're doing XYZ based on your previous pattern. You need to stop and shoot the video and post it. I was like, damn. And I'm chatting, and this is not a chat bot. This is like an agent that I have assigned, like has a dedicated.
I'm going to pause
computer.
you right there.
Yeah.
Let's define for people that don't know the difference
agents
of what an AI agent is.
Yeah. So lately, if you've seen the news, there's a Claude bot out there, not the Claude by Anthropics. This one is CLAWD. This one is basically an agent where you could assign a dedicated computer and it does everything pretty much that an assistant would do right now, like an actual agent. So it's very different than just chatting with the box on ChatGPT and getting answers. Right. I think we're way past that time now. People are looking for agents or AIs to actually do the work for us now, right? So this agent on my phone, literally I could text it on my phone with a WhatsApp or Telegram app and say, give me the top 20 trending items and research it properly and report back to me. And it will watch TikTok videos, it'll watch Google Trends for me, and in an hour it'll say, I watched TikTok and these 3 items kept popping up, you need to carry them. That's how effective it is. Like, it's the real deal. I've been blown away by that. Yeah.
That's really, really
So
really
that's
cool.
what I mean when I say agent. It's like an actual agent 24/7 working for you. This morning is telling me what's on my to-do list and if it can help me achieve those goals for the day. kind of thing.
Really, it's helping you stay organized and on task
and running multiple companies. And we as entrepreneurs, we have a lot going on, right?
Right.
You're doing podcasts, you're doing the news, you're doing all kinds of different things, events, right? How do you stay organized? You got to have help.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. I don't.
I don't either. But this has been literally helping me, and I have to follow up with my feature film, editor feedback. I could be sitting a week later. It's like, did I ever give him that feedback? Let me look at my notes. This agent is like, hey, did you do this XYZ? Do you want me to contact them?
We actually finally have robot overlords, is what you're telling me.
They do, yeah. So that's what been a new passion for the past week for me, is like, okay, how do I stay organized? Even though I have a human assistant who does an amazing job, but this thing is like without a fail. It helps me as well stay organized.
I mean, if we all could just have that, the Jiminy Cricket on our shoulder to keep us on task, right?
Yeah. It'll drive us nuts. But this is a leg up from
the News Nirvana podcast is made possible by the generosity of Blocks Digital. Blocks Digital empowers content producers to connect with their worldwide audiences at scale and continuously transform to achieve their business goals. Contact Blocks Digital today to learn more about how they can help you thrive. Connect with them at blocksdigital.com.
You're going to hear more about this as well in the future. Like Claude released a thing called Cowork. So it takes over your computer, similarly organize your local files. You could be sleeping and it could be coding in the morning, give you an app, right? And let's take a step back. In the beginning,
and that's not the AWD, right?
No, this is the regular Claude.
Is the CLAUDE Claude?
Yes, they release a Cowork now, where literally you could pay $200 and it could organize your local file. Check this out. I had a 4-minute shoplifting video. I didn't want to watch the setting of it. I told the agent to watch it and tell me, what do you think the script should be based on what you know about my channel? It shoot out a script for me the next day to do a voiceover on. I mean, that's how crazy it is. Like, it'll watch videos for you and do the work.
How do you feel as a creative, right? I mean, like we hinted at it, and we'll talk about it in a little bit.
Yeah.
That you have written, you spent the winter shooting
in Pakistan,
overseas, a feature film. So as a creative, how do you feel about letting a bot write a script? I mean, even if it's a silly script for
a shoplifting video,
right. But I mean, I think our biggest fear as news people is letting that creative thing run amok and forgetting that we still have to edit.
Yeah. Or for me, definitely grayer, and I can understand why people would be sensitive. For me, it's like, I call it my 24-hour buddy that hears about my ideas and gives me feedback, and then I improve on them or work on them, right? I can't call somebody at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm an early riser and say, hey, I had this thought. What do you think? I could just text message it, not even a chat box, and say, this is what I had in my mind. What do you think, right? It's like your buddy that you met in high school or college. That we always have that friend that we always seek out advice for, and I still have those. Luckily, AI hasn't taken over that. But I never let it completely, because sometimes it's way off what it wants to do and improves. I'm not very comfortable with it yet, where I say, this sounds so good that people are going to fly over the moon.
I have never asked, just playing around, I've never asked one for content, and my response is, oh, that's perfect. That's great.
I just ask it.
Sometimes it's a good prompt for me.
Yeah. Just for me, it's more like brainstorming. Definitely brainstorming. But as far as the final touches and content-wise, you have to have that human element to it as well. Everybody uses it. If you say, oh, I need to sit down, relax, which is highly recommended for artists because anxiety attacks, we always have to be doing something. And ideas come, but sometimes you have an idea but you're not sure about, you want to get validation. It's good to have a second brain. The other thing I call it is my second brain.
Yeah.
And it created a Notion file for me yesterday where it says, I'm your second brain. Any book you read, any thoughts you have, summarize them, send them to me. You can look back and search for them. I was like, great, I've never done that before.
That's one of the two things I love using chatbots for.
Yeah.
One, I almost look at it as it giving me a prompt. Like if I'm stuck, you get in the brain loop, you're writing or you're creating something and you're stuck. Yeah. I throw things at it and then
unstuck me.
And it even though it generates content, it really more is just it gets me some prompts so my brain can get back to work.
You have to have final touches on it.
Yeah, and
I would never let it say, hey, and there's people out there that say everything is generated from the video to the thumbnail to the script, and they're auto-scheduling all these through their agents that we talked about, literally agents, and it's like a full, if you look at it, it will look like this conspiracy map.
What's your thought on that? Should you trust it? Should I trust it? I don't.
I don't. Not right now. No. The computer that I have was a very secondhand used computer that I'm not using. I wiped it clean. I never give it any sensitive information. It's very basic of generating ideas and stuff, but I don't want it doing any more than that because I don't trust it because anything could happen and, there's a lot of... It could go rogue on us and spit out our password. And a lot of hackers.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why I always say please and thank you in my chats because when when they do take over, I want them to think I was nice.
There's funny videos about that too. Oh, leave him alone. Always said thank you, right?
The other thing that I like to use it for is and I think this is kind of where you were going is sometimes I have so many things in my brain that I will just sometimes throw out. Hey, I'm thinking about this, and here are the 7 different angles or whatever that are in my brain for a project, analyze for me. Yeah. And just let it give me some pros and cons. Yeah. So that I can organize my own thoughts. Yeah. And as you know, as an entrepreneur, right? When we're alone with our thoughts, every one of those are genius. Yeah. We need somebody to make us slow down.
Just like it told me, hey, stop what you're doing. Yeah. You're doing it again, right? And I can say, what do you think about this title, that title? It's like, I already gave you 8. You're procrastinating. Just come. This is the best one. Use it or whatever. Move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the thumbnail, right? So for me, it's like that brainstorming, second brain. Here's what I'm thinking. Give it to me. What do you think?
Yeah, you threw something just a second ago that I want to talk about because you said you for your agent you took an old computer, you wiped it clean, you don't give it any sensitive information. Right. I feel like we don't talk about that part enough of the data collection that is going on to think about what all we're putting into these things, whether it's a chatbot, whether it's an agent, the data that we're putting in, where does it go? How is it going to be used? Yeah. I mean,
we got to be mindful.
What should we be thinking about there?
We should be responsible. You don't want your information out there for any sort of leak or anything like that. So there's a fine line of what I should share or not share with it. Because anybody that used one chat box over the other, do things like, hey, from everything you know about me, tell me where are my gaps. You'll be surprised. I have some old prompts that it took and says, oh, this is your gaps and this and that. And that's one of the viral prompts out there too. Like, tell me my gaps and tell me how do I improve. The last place you want to share is your bank statements and personal data at all. I would not recommend. I know people that literally share their bank statements, say, budget this for me next month and this and that. And you could be mindful. There's certain ways of sharing files without the important info in there. Like if you have a CSV file, take out certain factors of that you don't want to be shared. Because anybody can hack into anybody else's information. It's public information. As much as somebody says Copilot or this is safe for the other, I personally don't trust any of them at all. And I don't think you should either.
The old adage, trust but verify?
Exactly, yeah. I would not trust them with your personal data at all. You got to be mindful of that.
Yeah, and I know I'm hopping around, and it's. I keep looking at the clock. I don't want to take too much time.
No, you're good. I enjoy this.
Of your time and our listeners.
This is our normal brainstorming session, right?
I want to go back to audience tracking and collecting data. Are there certain aspects of audience data that you think are more important that maybe rank higher, score higher for you that we all need to look at, like, age, location are the easy things, but are there things that you're looking for that really matter?
I think, definitely. I think that's the basics to kick things off, the demographic data, income level, things like that. But I think when you get to the nitty gritty of if you're doing online persona, what are they into watching? If I have my personal YouTube channel, it's more business entrepreneurship, this and that. If it's the Fave Trip channel, it's more around cops, shoplifting, this and that, like law enforcement and court cases, which I didn't realize was a big thing where a judge is standing and sentencing like that. When I look at the data, people are watching that.
We love being legal voyeurs.
Exactly, yeah. But I didn't know that until I saw the data. So similarly with customer preference and taste, even in person or outside. Like one store could sell, like I said, a bunch of Mountain Dew, and the other one can't sell for the life of it. But that one sells a lot of Dr. Pepper. So getting into the taste and preference. And I was talking to somebody earlier here about music preferences, right? If we're going to host an event, which we're planning on doing, we have to be mindful of what music we're going to play there, who's going to come there, why should they care about this music over the other. So, you think the Super Bowl wasn't very intentional. It's very intentional. So,
yeah, I really, I think that's the key thing we've talked about is knowing your own persona and knowing your audience, which seems very basic. Like this is not groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's not. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs take it for granted. Like I said, I'm guilty of putting out the fire, not making time. You have to make time for these things. There should be a day or of the month or the week or the year that you reflect. Because I'll tell you again, to make this very practical, and you and I are very practical when we brainstorm ideas. Well, would this work or not work? We'll try it. Maybe it doesn't work. But one thing we've done over the years, if you asked me 3 years ago, a lot of long format videos was king for us. The longer the video, the better on Facebook.
Right.
Recently, and we use a tool like Opus AI right now, I have videos scheduled out until the end of the year. 2 videos a day for the next on Facebook itself, not on YouTube. But YouTube still long format is king still. But shorts are coming along.
I mean,
as well.
because I will tell you my experience, and again, most of my YouTube is for podcasts, either this one, my own that goes with my newspaper, or for clients.
Yeah,
I feel like I get more and more traffic and engagement through shorts than I do the long.
For me on Facebook,
and that's frustrating to me.
It is, yeah. So what we have to change, right? Adopt. Imagine we're stubborn and say, no, long is always going to stay no matter what, right? So for
you think it's the staying power, even if for right now the peaks are short.
You got to be willing to change. For me to edit a short, and somebody that does editing, it's a very tedious process. But if I could take my long formatted videos, dump it into Opus AI or any other tool that's out there, it cuts it up and puts subtitles, I'm okay with that. And like I said, it's not an easy task for me, Monday through Friday, 2 videos a day until the end of the year. And what are we, February 17 today?
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah, how are we almost 2 months into the year?
Exactly. And I have it scheduled out for the rest of the year. That doesn't happen accidentally. You have to be intentional. But that's the taste, preference and taste of our customers on Facebook. And when I say 20 million reach for our channel, it's combining YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, everything, the whole shebang. That's where it's been very different for us doing that. But if I was stubborn and say, long is the way, it's here to stay, I can't change, I'm not going to do it.
I'm trying to decide where to go because that led me 2 different questions. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start with this one. You said that was a combined audience, which we all use multiple channels. Mm-hmm. I don't do TikTok and more because I don't feel like I have the capacity to do it well.
Yeah.
And I'm barely good at the others.
You're doing great. I enjoy your content. Yes.
Do you look at, is your audience behavior similar across all of those channels, or are you really tracking 4 separate things?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We track it, and the answer is it's very different on TikTok.
I mean, the easy answer is Facebook is our generation of olds. I think I'm older than you, but I'm definitely grayer. Like the easy answer is, well, Facebook's an older audience.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly for me, female versus male.
Mine's is male, more male. Our data shows more male.
Instagram's a little bit younger, but I think that's trending to an older age now too, as it gets older. And YouTube is pretty all over the place.
Yeah, and then you have to look at your own analytics or look at your competitors to get a sense of it for sure. Yeah, ours is completely different than what you're telling me, and I see it all the time, where more male customers, or customers or viewers, I should say, as well, right? So the content that we post on YouTube might be somewhat different on Facebook. We still share it anyway. For me, if it's the same 2 clicks away from posting it everywhere, I'll try it out everywhere. I'm not going to make content where I say this is designated for, but as brands, I must say, as business owners, this is a rental property, right? You want to build a brand that you can land anywhere and have that audience follow you, because you could be like, and we used to reach a lot more people than I say right now, actually, in the 50 million range. and one day Facebook says we don't like it, your engagement goes down. We had as low as 100,000 or less a few months, like not recently, but
Wow.
then I was like, wow, and we never pay them. We're like, this is totally organic. And they're like, my goodness, what's the point of doing that? So I was like, you know what, we'll keep doing it because we don't mind doing it and we have a good hang of it. But you could be easily disencouraged as somebody that depends on one platform and then take it away or something. Imagine that TikTok ban happened.
Well, and look, it's always a moving target with the social media channels, right? Because the way they do the algorithms change.
Yeah. You have
as
to be
well
mindful.
as personalities of audience as they grow changes.
Yeah. Going back to your original point, you got to be willing to change. You can't be the dinosaur of business that people look up to and say, yeah, they were doing things right when they were in business.
So when you're using I think you said Opus AI is what you use.
Yeah.
When you are using that to help you create these clips.
Yeah.
Are you intentionally then using that data to say, make a clip for Facebook that focuses on this demographic or this audience?
Yeah, I think on its own.
I mean, are you scaling that small to where you're doing for your specific for each channel?
I haven't done it, but if I have the time, I would do that. I'll take that as a challenge maybe, because you're absolutely right. Here's an interesting thing that we tried one time, but if it's not repeatable, I don't do it. For example, on TikTok, everybody knows the AI voice Adam from 11 Labs. Opus AI has a thing where in the beginning of the video, you could set it up where Adam explains what's about to happen, right? We notice on something on TikTok, that would do really well. Something on Facebook or YouTube, that did very flop. People hate hearing AI voice. But on TikTok, that Adam voiceover is very acceptable. If you heard it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're and maybe that's just my age. I'm annoyed every time I hear it.
Exactly. See, it's like, I don't like it. But again, going back to whether I like it or not, if I was trying to grow my TikTok, which I'm blessed to have 50K followers unintentionally, I'll take them. But they're not really my focus at the moment. I think we get a lot more action on Facebook than YouTube, than TikTok.
That's really interesting to me.
But I like your point about do you cater or set it up for that particular platform.
Well, and that's that's a lot of time. I mean, it is. I think we all look at the problem with we all look at social media like, man, that's one more thing.
Yeah, one more thing to add, and imagine not utilizing the tools that are available. Right, you're not going to see me post until December. Then, right, I'll probably post till just this month or a week.
Right,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, to figure out how to, and that's where I think taking some time to explore these agents and these tools, to take that, to use that task, and then you can still focus on your priorities. Although our priorities are always changing.
Always, but here's a challenge for your audience. Like throughout the week, observe how your week goes by. Right. I try to do this. Some days I fail, and sometimes I do okay. So I look at it and say, what gave me energy? What maybe took away energy? What do I enjoy spending more or less time on? I hate reporting hours. I don't want to do it anymore. Well, can I get somebody to do it, right? Value your time. You could be doing so many other things instead of, things that you don't enjoy doing. Focus on that and delegate.
I actually used a tool to do something similar to that for a while, for about 6 months, because I was curious. I don't like tracking my hours either. Yeah. Like nobody does, especially when you're working for yourself, right?
It's a 1 week exercise, highly recommend. What tool did you use? I'm curious.
Now I can't remember the name of it.
I went old school, just write it on a piece.
So no, what this did was I tracked not only the time of when I was working, but what the project was.
Okay.
And it not only gave me a report, but then analyzed so that I could see too graphically, what things I was easily focusing in on, and what things maybe I wasn't.
Yeah.
And
what gave you energy? What do you see yourself doing next week?
Yeah, and
next year.
Yeah, and it was very obvious after several months.
That you got.
Here's the things that take me forever.
Yeah. And you don't enjoy doing.
And then it was like I was like, why? Oh, yeah, because I hate doing that part of the job.
Yeah.
And so then I could look at it and start to analyze, all right, how do I change this up?
Yeah.
How do I put energy into it that's needed? Do I break it into smaller chunks? Do I change my approach? Which, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you just have to tell ourselves, have a better attitude?
Yeah. Because I was editing my videos for the longest, right? Eventually, I was like, I don't want to do this. It eats up so much time. I think somebody could do it better than me. And delegating that allowed me to shoot my feature film, write the script, and shoot it in Pakistan and travel. Otherwise, I was like, oh, I can't go because I got to edit these videos. I got to do this. My time is well spent.
And that's my problem as running a business, right? Being in charge is I love the editing. I really do. But I know it takes so much time. And I finally had to be okay with using a tool like you do. Mm-hmm. Hey, here's my long form.
Cut it.
Go make me some shorts and some reels.
Yeah.
That I can use. And I'll be honest, some of them I don't like. But some of them too, again, it gives me the prompt. It says, hey, this section has content that's going to score well.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
I like that. Yeah.
So
what it thinks.
Right. And so then I can go back and maybe cut it differently, put different pieces together, but at least gets me, even if I don't use it, it gives me the head start.
Yeah.
Because you know as well as I do, if I have an hour-long interview, I'm going to spend a day editing, not just that hour, but editing all the clips that I want to use.
Before even, I think you shared that plugin with me with Adobe, I think it was, where, in the past, Autopod, right? Where if somebody speaks, it automatically shifts back and forth. Imagine the nightmare for editor each time. Oh, who's speaking? Let me take that. Literally
took 6 hours of work for I produce one show that averages an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. That took 4 to 6 hours of cutting it up to be camera on the speaker. Yeah. To 3 minutes, maybe.
Imagine that, right? That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. I think that's
even faster when I upgraded my computer.
If there's one takeaway, just take that 6 hours to 3 minutes, right? What can you do with those 6 hours now, right?
Yeah. And I still review it.
Yeah, you want to
and may make minor adjustments, but it did the bulk of the work in 1 to 3 minutes, right? Yeah. And then I can go back as I go through. I can adjust those video tracks.
You want to verify. You don't want to be that lawyer. I think he used ChatGPT. And he was mentioning all these cases that don't exist. And the judge was like, what are you talking about? So, that was, you don't want to be that lawyer. It's a tool, but you got to verify.
Editors, copy editors and stuff, right? Those are not going to lose their jobs because I think it makes it more important.
Yeah. You definitely, need to verify, use it accordingly. But the big takeaway for me is like, if it saves you time, energy, money, and go ahead and do it. Put a value on your time, right? Your 6 hours could be spent elsewhere doing the other thing, networking with folks, which I know you enjoy doing networking. So you got to say, do I like editing more or do I like networking? Yeah. I'm pretty sure the answer is networking probably.
I like talking.
Yeah. So why not? I mean, do more of that and less of the editing process. Because I don't mind editing, but I thought it was taking too much of my time.
Well, as we wrap up, before we get to the end, I do want to take a couple minutes. Let's talk about feature film.
Yes.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. A Rooster and his boy? Is that
the Rooster and the Boy, yes.
The Rooster and the Boy.
Yes.
This is your passion project.
Yes. So I've been writing the script for a couple of years now, and it got to the point where, I have too much going on. I said, either I'm getting done writing this or I'm putting it to rest. Because whenever you write, it's always, you get into that where it's not perfect enough. It's not this and that. And eventually I was like, if I don't go this year. So beginning of last year, I bought my ticket and I said, there's no turning back. I'm going there, networking with people. I'm going to go ahead and just lock in on this project. So we went Pakistan, actually shot the film. Luckily, a couple of days ago, I got the second edit. What I mean by the first edit is they give you everything. Story doesn't quite make sense, but they give you all the footage so you have enough to play.
Pretty much raw, but raw cut together.
No color grading, no music. And I was like, okay. And then now we got the second edit. It's very tight, and it's making sense now, right? But long story short, one thing I have, my personal philosophy is live with no regrets. I don't want to be on my deathbed and saying, I wish I shot that film. I wish I finished that script. So I like to live very intentionally now, and that's what I tell your audience. If you have some desires of doing stuff, go ahead and do it, or just take it off your bucket list, right? Stop thinking about it. So that where it came down to me was like, I love filmmaking process. I think that's where the, accidentally the shoplifting videos came from too. Like I wouldn't think about doing it, but I had the background of, content creation. Yeah. So I was like, okay, how do I take this to the next level? So I'm always curious. But yeah, the film we're hoping we're done with it by December of this year. We're giving it enough time for music and color grading.
Right.
And it's just like running a business, to be honest with you. You're dealing with people, you're dealing with actors, musicians, and I don't mind it. But having that business background and the marketing definitely helps for sure.
Well, it helps you herd all the cats.
Yes. It's been an interesting process for sure. And I enjoy every bit of it. And I can't thank you enough because I always tell you, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. What do you think? What are we doing? And you connect me with folks too. So I appreciate that and look forward to showing it to you as well.
I can't wait. Well, like I appreciate it. And I just think sometimes it's a good reminder to get out of our own way, to talk to people that aren't stuck in the same narrow tunnel vision that we're in. And all these tools are everywhere. And if you're finding success with it, I can probably find a way to use the same tool and get success on my end. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise.
Hey, if people want to go find, because look, y'all need to go watch this YouTube channel and have some funny videos, where can they find you?
Fave Trip. They could just visit the YouTube Fave Trip channel or Fave Trip Independence on Facebook itself, or TikTok is just Fave Trip. And you want to keep up with the feature film, Facebook or the website, The Rooster and the Boy is the best spot.
Babir Sultan, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man.
That'll wrap us up for this episode. We'll talk to everybody next time. The News Nirvana podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or most any of your favorite podcast apps. The News Nirvana podcast is made possible by the generosity of Blocks Digital. Connect with them at blocksdigital.com. The News Nirvana podcast is produced by Fredcasts. Think, speak, act,